All right, 2010 Toyota Matrix radiator. Should be the same on like 2009 to 2013. They're pretty much the same. I'm doing this on the 2.4. However, it should be pretty similar on the 1.8. So, the reason I'm doing this is you can see there's a bit of a leak here, and what I found out is that this piece just broke right off. There's supposed to be an extension right here, kind of like on this side. Let me take this off. Do the clip. Yeah, so like this extension right here. There should be one on the other side. So like that extension right here, there should be one on the other side, but it broke off. First thing you're gonna want to do is drain the coolant. What you want to do is take off a couple of these skid plates, one for the right wheel, one for the left wheel, and then one underneath. And I also took off the engine cover. It's really easy. One clip, two bolts right here for one side of the wheel, and then I got the wheels removed because that makes this really easy. One clip, two bolts, and then there's a couple bolts and clips underneath. And if you want to do an oil change, it's actually really easy. I actually do it this way because I don't even need to go under the car. Filter right here, drain plug right here. Super easy. So to drain the radiator, what you want to do is take off the cap. And then you're going to need to jack up the car, obviously. And then you want to remove the skid plates here. There's a petcock up here. And you can fit a hose onto it if you don't want to make a mess. That's what I did here. It's a bit hard to see. There it is. That's it right there. What I do is I'm just going to turn that petcock, open it up. There you can see now the coolant is flowing out the hose. In my catch can here, it's making no mess. It's a great way to do it here. If you don't, it's going to drip all over here. Oh, you can actually see there's the petcock right there. You can see the hose attached. So we're going to drain it from the radiator first. This is clear because I'm doing a rinse right now. Once you finish draining the radiator, don't forget to do the block drain as well. It's located right here, right next to the oil filter. On some Toyotas, especially the V8s, these are such a pain to get to. Usually you have to use like 18 extensions and do it from the wheel well, but on this car they made it real easy. So I'm just gonna crack it loose here, and then I'm gonna get my drip pan ready. So you got it crack loose, just take it off by hand. No need for a hose here. You're gonna let this drain all the way. You don't want to crank on this guy, just turn it until it stops. And then just a little more. And that's good enough. We're going to dump out the contents of the overflow tank. Just going to cap this radiator here, make sure we don't get any debris. So pop this up. What I'm going to do is take this off. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Leave it right there. Leave it right there. A couple 10 mils here, zip them out. Careful not to drop it. Rotate this guy out. And then what we're gonna do is just dump this guy out in here with the rest of our coolant. Into your coolant container here. So let's go look at the manual real quick, see what it wants us to remove. So looking right here, it wants us to remove the bumper, which I don't really want to do today. And then this upper part, unplug the horn, remove the battery, kind of get that. The hood latch. Let's see what else here. And then it wants us to disconnect that hose, the ATF hose, which I don't have because this is a stick. So this is not going to be very hard to do. It won't be much different. And then from the bottom, it looks like it wants you to take off 2 things. So we'll see. Okay, that's it. So we'll see how this ends up. I'm going to see if we can avoid removing the bumper because I don't really want to do that. So we're going to start by removing hoses. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Let's just stick it out the way. And then I went ahead and removed these clips so I can remove this plastic piece because it's given me trouble before. I've actually broken this before. I'm going to be replacing it with a metal replacement. I'll do a video on that. Essentially, we're going to unclip this hose. I already unclipped most of it, so I'm just going to do the last bit here. Pry this tab up and push the hose out. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this completely. Now that we got that done, we're gonna go ahead and remove the battery here. Pop this cover off. Need to though. Now we need to go ahead and get that clamp right here. Now we can get that from the bottom. Oh, it's connected to the condenser. I see that. Oh, I see. It's connected to the condenser right here. All right, so we're gonna pop this top part off. We can lift this completely out of the way. Great. Here are the two radiators side by side. The biggest difference you can see is the automatic transmission cooler on the new Radiator and the lack of one on the old one. And the reason for that is this car is a stick. So there's no need for a automatic transmission cooler. So there isn't one on the factory Radiator, but the Denso one does have one because it's meant for an automatic transmission. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep these lines plugged off and install the Radiator. Should be exactly the same. They're pretty much exactly the same minus the cooler. Just be a little less cooling capacity, but that's not gonna matter. This engine was designed to run with an automatic transmission as well, so not a huge deal. The other difference is you can see these are definitely different. If you look right here, and then you look right here, this is clearly not the same. So there are some differences. Markings here that are missing here, right? So if you look right here, this is that D with an underscore below it, right by that QR code, that's a Denso. So this is a Denso Radiator made in USA. And then this one right here is also a Denso, but it's made in China. So it looks like they aren't selling the exact same part, but they look similar enough. You can see where this piece broke off, so I'm replacing it. That piece broke off. It's this one right here. These radiators do not come with a radiator cap, even if you get them from the dealership, so I bought one here. That is also a Denso coolant cap. See the D with the underscore. So why didn't I just buy the OEM Radiator? That's because it's $500 MSRP, which is ridiculous. 4-row Radiator in my Land Cruiser OEM from Japan is cheaper than this one right here, which is small, dinky, and full of plastic. It just makes no sense. This one was $100 plus shipping, so I'm $120. It's a great deal. So old cap, new cap, they look exactly the same. Cover this so debris doesn't fall in the radiator during installation. I don't have to worry about that side because it's sideways. While you're here, it'd be a good idea to replace your thermostat. Make sure you got something underneath to catch it. Oh, you're gonna lose some coolant. What's that? There it is. Look right here. This is an original thermostat. See that Toyota logo right there? For the thermostat, you're gonna want thermostat and the O-ring. Gasket's on. Just push it on all sides. Make sure it's on. A2 Celsius. There's the company that makes it. I don't remember the name. And that is the old Toyota logo right there. Yep, it is. That is the old Toyota logo right there. Looks like TEQ. And there's a date code on this. It looks like it was made in 2024 on July 6th. Let's look at the old one. October 2008, and it's exactly the same part, except the stamping's different. Now you're gonna install this with the jiggle valve placed up, plus or minus 10 degrees. You can refer to this illustration right here. Clean the mating surface here. Coat the gasket, just a little bit of water here. Here it's in line with that stud. So this is the fan shroud here. This is a Denso as well, made in Canada. See the same label, D underscore. This one flat out says Denso. So the radiator bolts right here, and then the mounts cover up that bolt right here. And then the condenser goes in front of it right here. And then there's a bracket that bolts the radiator, these two bolts, and then the condenser, those holes right here. You can put that hole right in there. That's where the condenser goes, and the other condenser hole goes right there. Now, the reason they did this is so they can go in the assembly line, and they can have the radiator and condenser all in one piece and just drop it into the car and then connect all the lines, which makes sense from a manufacturing standpoint because that's quick, saves a bunch of time. But when that's not very good for a serviceability standpoint, because now I need to move this condenser out the way, and some models you're able to just pull the radiator and leave the fan shroud in place, but not on this one because they hid the bolts down here blocked underneath the radiator mounts. So you actually have to pull both the condenser and the radiator up off the mounts, disconnect the radiator, remove the condenser, move it further away, and then just leave that guy floating. I actually dropped it on accident, and luckily it didn't break anything. You can see it's just hanging there off these bungees out of nothing. I am going to be replacing the lower radiator supports just because this cracking I see here, I didn't like it. And this is such a pain to do this job that I'm not doing it again. So we did replace the lower radiator supports. They were very expensive, $15 each. Nobody else sells them, so that's what happens. Unfortunately, we're kind of forced here. Let's go install this radiator here. All right, this is the proper orientation. There are tabs right here, one tab here, and one tab on the other side. You're gonna wanna make sure the radiator tank is in between these two tabs. Make sure you don't break anything. So this is the right orientation. All the outlets are facing the engine. These are the other tabs on the other side here. Like I said, just wanna make sure that the tank is in between that one and that one as well. This one on the edge here, which doesn't appear to be on this side. Then went ahead and installed the mounts, and this thing is ready to go in the car. Here's how they both look attached. If you look underneath, you see we got the radiator mount sticking through, the condenser mount sticking through. Here we got the radiator mount sticking through, and the condenser mount sticking through. So they line up like that, and then this hole right here aligns with the radiator right there. So there's a lip right here. You got to make sure it's over it, and then it engages like that. So see this lip right here? This is my mistake. I need to push this over right here. There you go, like that. And now it clicks right in just like that. Now you could probably see how this is all one unit, right? They can just, if these AC lines were disconnected and these connectors were disconnected, condenser and radiator together, and just drop it right in the car, right? Super easy for them to assemble, but a pain in the ass for service. So this bracket fell off when the condenser fell through, so I'm gonna just reattach it here. This holds the thermistor for the AC system, the outside air temperature. So back in, there you go, and that's done. If you have an automatic transmission, you would need to connect the automatic transmission cooler lines as follows. So 2 bolts, the clamp right there, both hoses, and then their respective clamps. Now this is the hood latch. You do need to let this hang, but you gotta be careful not to let it hit the condenser. So we're gonna try and do that. Let it hang without making it hit the condenser. There you go. I just got it right there, just hanging out right there. And you can see when this is done, the upper radiator mounts are gonna pull this radiator right here. All right, next thing we're gonna do is install this hood latch here. So, okay, now we can do the horn. Next, we're gonna do the radiator mounts. I did not replace these because they just do not look damaged at all. They look completely fine. So these are the little hook right here. That hook goes in this hole right here, and then bolt right there. And I'm just gonna hook this guy back until it falls in the hole right there. Next one right there. Radiator's now installed. Now we just got to get a bunch of coolant hoses onto it. So this one hose goes right under the battery tray. It's a bit of a pain to get to. You can see it down there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sneak this behind the battery tray here. I don't have the battery connected right now, which is I guess to my advantage here, but risk. Just squeeze. All right, for some reason, my spill-free funnel kit does not fit this Denso radiator. You see this is all wobbly inside. I go back to the OEM one. You can see it fits perfectly right there. No wobble. There's a difference in the size of that right there. The Denso aftermarket is much smaller. Funnel doesn't even fit down there even. So in this case, I'm just gonna pour it. So the book says to loosen the little bleed plug on top of the radiator and then close it close it before the engine starts. Okay, I'm gonna give this a loosen here. Just gonna keep loosening this guy here. So I filled it to the top and now it's currently, you can see it's leaking out of that air bleeder. What we're gonna do now is we're just gonna try and squeeze some bubbles out here. And you can actually see them coming out the cap when I do that. See those air bubbles? And now you can see it actually took some down the cap and we actually need to fill a little more up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same here. We re-topped off the reservoir. You can see it leaking through the air bleed. Now we're just going to continue trying to push bubbles out here. I'm watching it come up. See that? We're getting almost no bubbles anymore. The amount of bubbles we're getting is a lot lower than what it was when we started. And now that this side is done, what we're actually going to do is I'm going to top it off. I'm going to let it leak and close it off. It's topped off. It's leaking through here. We're just going to close this off right now. Close this completely off. That way the level doesn't drop below it. Like that. Wipe some of this down. It made a mess, but unfortunately that's kind of how it is with this design. This is plastic threaded, so you really don't want to apply a ton of forces or you're going to break it. Just till it stops, then a little more. That's good right there. Alright, now I'm going to squeeze the hoses again, see if we get any more air out. Looks like we're not getting any. Squeeze this hose. Oh, we got a little bit out. See those air bubbles? We're gonna keep squeezing here until we get rid of those. So I think that's good enough. We're gonna go ahead and set the car up to start. We're gonna keep the cap off for now. I got it sitting right there. The engine bay is cleared. All clamps are on. Yeah, there's that one down there. That one is on. And then the one down there, you can see it there. Got the scan tool here with live data for engine coolant temp. See the level went down a bit. I'm gonna squeeze the hoses now, see if I can get more air out. Up, a little bit there. We're gonna go and top it off real quick. So with it topped off here, you can see the air, I'm guessing, is coming out of this hose. And you can see it bubbling out of here. Now the coolant temp is at 88 Fahrenheit, so that's nowhere near boiling. So this must be air coming out right here. See, it's getting rid of quite a bit actually, and then it just dropped down again. So we're gonna top it off one more time. See, the more I'm topping it off, the more air is coming out and the level's going back down. We're just gonna keep doing this. So I wish I could film more on the bleeding procedure, but my film storage got full. The important part is you need to keep topping off the reservoir as the coolant level drops down as air is bled out. The air is mainly bled out by that bleed hose connected to the T-junction. You know you're done bleeding the air when you have a steady stream coming out of that air bleed hose. I'll show a clip of what that looks like here. Once you see this, wait for the fans to come on, then top off the reservoir one last time and shut off the car, and you're done bleeding the system. Alright, once you get the fan on like this, that means you're up to temp. We're at 203. It's boiling out. It's boiling out of the cap. Go ahead and top it off. After you shut it down, go ahead and get the cap. Top the radiator one last time if you need to. You're going to see the coolant contract. It's going to suck some back in, so I'm going to top it off one last time. All right, with it topped off now, we're just going to reinstall the cap. After you got the cap back on, start the car one more time with the cap on for about 5 minutes till the fans come on to let the cooling system pressurize. While you do this, you're going to look for leaks. Look at all the fittings, all the clamps, anywhere you've done work essentially, you're going to look. We're going to go underneath the car and check real quick. All right, we're underneath the car right now, making sure it doesn't leak from the petcock. And it doesn't leak from that joint up there. Now we're going to go on this side. Make sure we're not leaking from that radiator hose, which we're not. And make sure we're not leaking from the that hose clamp right there. And then you also want to check the housing, but I don't see any drips down here, so we're good there. All right, we're at about 203 degrees Fahrenheit. The cooling fans have just turned on, and I'm squeezing this hose. I can feel the pressure. We are fully pressurized by now. Any leaks should present themselves. You're going to want to look one last time right now. Make sure the overfill tank is above the full line. It will take some coolant after it fully cools down after about a night. So drive it around, test drive it, make sure everything is running good, it doesn't overheat, and then top off this tank in next morning.